light doesn't turn on. I don't know. It says I'm live. I've been live for like, how do I want to bring up, okay, yes. No, I want to show the cover. I'm trying to, whoa, that's weird. Um, Shoot, now I'm losing my place in my book. Boy, okay, you're just going to have to look at the little, right is left, left is right, 3D specimen, it's the first one. So I've been reading this 3D specimen by Julia Nest. I so far recommend it. It's there's a couple things you need to know about going into 3D specimen if you're going to read it. It's written by I want to say Croatian, Ukrainian. So one of those Middle Eastern, not Middle Eastern, um, Eastern Bloc countries. I think she's Ukrainian. Anyway, the author is Ukrainian, Julia Nest, and the book is translated from her original language into English. Um, so you have to understand that going into it. It's a sci-fi set in the near future in which everything is 3D printed. Everything. There's nothing in the world that isn't 3D printed. And the main character, Dave, um, his father is one of the great 3D engineers, very rich fellow, dies, and in order for Dave to inherit his father's wealth, which is vast, um, and to keep his position at the company, because he has to get married within 30 days. So, error, YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Yes, sorry, my internet connection sucks. That's why I have not been doing videos lately. I can see it going in and out. They're gonna do the fiber optics soon. They've been saying this for like a year now. They're gonna do the fiber optics soon, but I'm actually on dial-up right now. So apologies for the poor quality. Now about 3D specimen. Um, if you read or enjoyed Ayn Rand at all, you will like 3D specimen. This is a very uber capitalist world that it's set in, with very, despite being in the future, values are very conservative, traditional values, and so there's that. But I'm enjoying it. It's dark. It's not gritty, but it's definitely dark. Just it's supposed to be a utopia, but it seems kind of dystopian to me. So if you're also one of those 3D utopian people, you might enjoy it as well. I have a lot of friends who are 3D printing will change the world kind of people. You might enjoy it as well. 3D specimen, one of the things I've been reading. Um, Another thing I've been reading is Michael Crichton's Pirate Latitudes. Oh, I still have my... Oh, that's why everything looks weird, because I still have the green screen filter on. Let me fix that. This is what happens when you haven't streamed in a while. This one, properties, no, filters, properties. That's better. All right. So Michael Crichton's Pirate Latitudes. Um, I was a huge fan of Michael Crichton growing up, especially his sci-fi works. I think Sphere is by far one of my favorite books of all time. I'm a huge, huge pirate fan. Michael Crichton recently died, I guess. Um, and side note, he's dead, as my mom would say. Love Sphere, Andromeda Strain, Jurassic Park series, Congo, um, all great novels. Terminal Man, and I'm a huge pirate fan. So when I was like, "Oh, Michael Crichton's got a pirate book, Pirate Latitudes," I will like this, and I started reading it. And you know what? I'm just not enjoying it. I don't know what it is. There's nothing wrong with the book per se. It is a very standard pirate adventure, and maybe it's my tastes have changed since I was younger. Um, it's very movie like. You know, um, Michael Crichton's books are like that. They're like movies in book format. And maybe I've outgrown that. I think, or maybe just the kind of the adventure genre in general. I seem to be more interested in characters than plot these days, and all the characters, while they're great, you know, piratey characters, and I think he does capture life in Port Royal at the time very well. It's not. I'm not really invested in any of these characters. They're all very surface, two dimensional, if you will, um, almost cliche, which I suppose you'd want in a pirate story because it's been done a million times. When I say I like pirate stories, like Treasure Island is by far my favorite book of all time. It was one of the first books that I read. I probably reread Treasure Island every couple of years. I love Treasure Island. Um, and those characters aren't particularly deep either, so I don't know. I don't know what the difference is between, say, this and Treasure Island. Um, but I'm not getting into it. It's not gripping me. It's not making me say I need to read the next chapter because I don't know. I feel like I know. I feel like I've read this or had this story a million times, and because it's so movie like, I'd almost rather watch a movie like Cutthroat Island or something instead of actually taking the time to read this book, which is basically a movie. The other book that I just got in the mail and just started, and I'm really looking forward to, but I haven't really gotten into it yet, is Adjustment Day, or AKA the Diary of Talbot Reynolds, by Chuck Palahniuk, which I think is a very appropriate um, story for the time we live in. It's basically the United States gets split up into different political factions, and there's a civil war. So you've got your conservatives and your left wing people, and even the gays are like their own country. Um, for those of you who don't know, Michael Crichton is gay, although he mostly writes straight fiction. But I'm looking forward to reading that. Not Michael Crichton, Chuck Palahniuk. Michael Crichton is straight. but Chuck Palahniuk is he's a very gay man, and a lot of people interpret Fight Club as a gay romance disguised as a heteronormative book, which I can see that. I mean, it's possible. I can definitely see the choppy delays going on there. Apologies again for that. Like I said, I've been waiting a very long time to get a decent internet connection going. Um, what else? What else is going on? Oh, local haunts. Whoops. Local haunts. It's available for pre-order on Amazon, and you can check that out. It's an anthology of short horror stories, which includes myself, put together by Regina St. Clair, who's also an author tuber, horror tuber person on YouTube. She's the editor. And before I get into my writing, let's talk about other things real quick. TV Tube. This might be a new thing. I don't know, but TV. I've the quarantine. Yes, quarantine has been happening, and so I've been doing a couple things that I don't normally do. One of which is um, baking. I've been doing a lot of baking and cooking and learning how to make all this ethnic food that I like, that you get in buy in the city, and I can't buy it anymore. So it's got to be annoying that the lip syncs off now. I know it's driving me crazy. Maybe we can do something about that. I'm not sure, but. Um, I've been learning how to make all sorts of Greek and Asian and Mediterranean and what else? Um, yeah, all sorts of things that I would normally just buy in the city, and I can't because I'm out in the country, um, and nothing's in the store, and when I ask about it, people look at me like I'm crazy because I'm surrounded by white people who eat crappy white food all the time. Oh, good, the lip sync's back. Okay, good. That was driving me crazy. Um, so anyway, so yes, so getting sick of eating hot dogs and hamburgers. I've been venturing into making all this different ethnic food, which is very, very prep intensive. Like, so much time goes into soaking beans and chopping things up and rolling out dough and layering things and letting it sit in the fridge overnight and all this other stuff. And so I've been watching a lot of TV while I do this, because I put on the TV in the living room and then I work in the kitchen and watch TV, as I imagine a lot of other people are doing too. So thought I'd throw a couple things out there. First, if you haven't heard yet, Cobra Kai is finally on Netflix. Thank the Lord. I was so sick of having to pirate Cobra Kai, because who the hell is going to get a YouTube subscription? Like, you got to be like a rich person to be able to afford it, to pay what, $8 a month for nothing except for like one or two shows, Cobra Kai, and then I think yeah, that's it. That's all I can think of is Cobra Kai. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's awesome. It's on YouTube now. Not YouTube. It's on. It's off. Well, it's still on YouTube. Nobody watches it on YouTube. It's actually on Netflix. So watch it. Check it out. It's awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. And been watching some retro stuff. If you're into sci-fi, I highly recommend. If you haven't seen it yet, watch Andromeda. Okay, Andromeda, or Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. That's right. So it's for those of you who don't know, Gene Roddenberry wrote Star Trek. And he wrote Andromeda. He wrote out the treatment for the series, but died before it could ever get made into anything. Um, and his son, I forget which one or his name, but he took it over and produced it after he died. He found all the treatment in a steamer trunk up in the attic, and he was like, "Oh, we should make this movie or TV show." And it's a lot of fun. It's basically, imagine if you took Star Trek and Firefly and mashed them together. Like that's what Andromeda is. It's like the lost Star Trek show, basically. It ran for seasons, and it stars Kevin Sorbo, and who was Hercules on Hercules, and a whole bunch of excellent Canadian actors and actresses. Trans Gemini. My heart. I'm glad she has a wonderful life, but man, that I'm very jealous of her husband. Um, Great show. Check it out. It's very strange and bizarre and wild, and it's a very popcorn. You can. It's not a heavy series. You can just kind of watch one. You can almost watch the episodes at random if you wanted to, because it's like that classic um, serialized television show. Um, so yeah, the full seasons. I think 24 episodes a season. It's great. Check it out. That's all I'm going to say about it. And the last TV2 recommendation I'm going to give is Tin Star. It's another Canadian show starring Tim Roth as a alcoholic sheriff. And if you are jonesing for some more Twin Peaks but can't get any, check out Tin Star. He's a drunken sheriff in Canada, and yeah, lots of crime, quirky backwoods, mountain town people, all those things that made Twin Peaks great. It's got a lot of those elements. It's not quite as insane as Twin Peaks is, but it's pretty crazy. It's, I would say, closer to season 3 Twin Peaks than season 1 or 2 Twin Peaks, but it's good fun. It's on Amazon. Check it out. Okay, now that we got all that out of the way, did I mention Local Haunts is available for pre-order? If not, you should check it out. It's on Amazon. Um, and I think I went over that already. So writing, AuthorTube. I have been doing not as much writing as I would think during a quarantine. You'd think you'd be writing all day long and all night long. But, there's a lot of stress going on in quarantine. We don't necessarily get as much writing done as we hope we would. Plus all those pastries aren't going to make themselves. Um, but I have gotten back into writing, and I have been writing a number of things. The sequel to Fake Tattoos number 2, Elise, God in the Witches, which could very well be its own standalone book, for all the things that go on in it. I'm back to writing that. There's gonna, over the next month or two, expect new chapters to come out on Wattpad. I just put out one new chapter. I've got some other chapters written, but I need to write the in-between chapters to catch up to there. It shouldn't be too long. It's only like 4 chapters to catch up to the stuff I wrote while I was in Texas. Um, so yeah, working on that, and that'll kind of um, finish up the. I want to say it's the second part two, the second section, second act, if you will, of the book. Because I did kind of leave that on a cliffhanger a year ago before I moved out of LA. It'll be nice to finish that up. I've also been working on a screenplay for a couple of, I would say, semi-famous horror actors. I'm not going to drop any names at the moment, but I'm working on, well, let's just, I'll tell you the gist of it. It is a horror spoof of Gilligan's Island. Yes, so very corny humor. Basically, it's Gilligan's Island, except for the castaways are all various monsters of horror, and it's definitely, I'd say, more on the comedy side, but it's horror comedy, so there's a lot of blood and guts and killing people and stuff, but it's not scary horror. It's more comedic horror. So think maybe more like a trauma um, movie kind of thing. So I've been putting a lot of effort into that because even though it's a spec script, um, if I can get these actors together on, say, like a Zoom call to do a reading, I'd be very excited, and it looks like they'd be willing to help out and participate in that. Yeah, so I'm kind of, that's my front burner project at the moment, if you will. Yeah, and then of course I've also been doing my short story stuff, but because that's been stumping me, I have this terrible scene to write, and I've been putting, it's really what's been holding me back on my writing, which is why I shoved it to the side for now, because I just don't, I just want to write. I don't want to have to be frustrated while writing, so that's kind of on the real back burner. In fact, actually, it's pretty much in the fridge at this point. Uh, it's not even on a burner, but eventually it'll come out of the fridge and it'll get cooked up and that'll get sent off. But that's it. That's the big update. I'm sure nobody watched this live, but that's okay. I hope the video quality is good enough to watch. Again, I apologize for all the crappy out of sync and buffering and out of phase and cutouts and everything. Hopefully, I will have a decent internet connection soon and be able to start streaming again. So thank you. This is just Ken checking in. Thank you guys. Check out my stuff on Amazon. Fake tattoos, local haunts, and love and hamburgers. Thank you. Peace out. Live long and prosper, yo.